show of hands, how many of us here truly enjoyed our childhood playtime? And firstly, now, by another show of hands, how many of us can see children nowadays playing like we once did? So much has changed. The best part of my childhood wasn't the birthdays, the food I ate, or the places I visited. It was in moments I spent playing. I played with friends. I played with neighbors who, of course, became friends. I played with my siblings. I even played with that one child who always got on my nerves. You see, back then, it didn't matter who you were. If you were available to play, then you were in. In those moments, we were truly, genuinely happy. No competition, no comparison, just joy. We didn't know it then, but play was teaching us, shaping us, connecting us. As children, play wasn't just a pastime. It was how we made sense of the world. It was how we became ourselves. Now, let's think about today. When we talk about preparing children for the future, we picture classrooms, textbooks, structured lessons. But what if one of the most powerful tools our children need to thrive in the world ahead is the very tool we are overlooking? Not more tutoring, not more worksheets, not more structured activities, just play. Play is not a distraction from learning. It is the very foundation of it. Now, I know it might sound simple or maybe even naive, but here is the truth. According to the Lego Foundation, over 60% of children globally have less than 1 hour of unstructured play a day. That's less than what prisoners get for outdoor time. So when we ask, how do we prepare children for the future? Maybe the better question is, how do we protect the very skills that tomorrow depends on? Because the future isn't just about academics. The World Economic Forum predicts that by the year 2030, the top 3 skills needed in the workforce will be creativity, emotional intelligence, adaptability. Where can these skills be cultivated most naturally? You guessed it, through play. Creativity isn't something we force, it's something we make room for. So I work with young children, and one day I gave them a box filled with random materials, paper cups, straw, buttons, and I said, you've just landed on a planet where everyone have no toy. With what you've been given in this box, I want you to create new toys. There will be no instructions. There will be no supervisions. I just want you to imagine. The first group made a toy that looked like a robot, and they called it Shakespeare. The second group had layered cups of materials, and they called it the Meek Eyes Dream House. They didn't hesitate. They didn't ask questions. They just created. Now, weeks later, I ran this same exercise with a group of adults. And the results? Let's just say most of them were looking for Google. You see, creativity thrives in a space where play is valued. Then comes emotional intelligence. This doesn't grow from whiteboards or lectures. It grows when a child shares a toy, reads a friend's mood, resolves a playground squabble. They practice empathy, and conflict resolution without even realizing it. I remember once sending my daughter out from the room for fighting with her younger brother. She was older, so I expected more. To my greatest surprise, the little boy, the one I thought I was defending, said, "Mommy, no, leave her alone." He then reached out and held her. In that moment, nobody taught him empathy. He simply mirrored it. He knew what it would be like to play alone or be sent away. And so he chose connection. Then comes adaptability. Children don't just adapt, they dance with change. Have you ever seen a boy playing football and mid-game the ball bursts? Give it 5 minutes. You will see him kicking a bundle of nylon, tied with rope, still playing, still scoring, still smiling. And when it rains, the game just shifts under the corridor. That's resilience, adaptability being built. In play, children don't just have fun, they rehearse for life. They express, they experiment, they fail and try again. They learn not to melt down when things don't go their way. Now, that's one lesson some adults are still trying to learn. You see, these skills are not just taught, they are cultivated. Now, let's fast forward to the year 2030, where jobs have changed rapidly. Robots perform surgery, algorithms compose music, AI writes essays. Automation is now replacing tasks humans once did. But there are things machines will never master. Feeling, dreaming, empathizing. To thrive in this world, our children will need more than academic skills. They would need creativity, resilience, collaboration. Where can these skills be cultivated? You guessed it, through play. Neurologically, play strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for critical thinking, decision-making, and problem-solving. Research from Harvard Center on the Developing Child shows that play builds a stronger executive function, focus, self-control, emotional regulation. Play builds the brain. Play builds the heart. Play builds the human. Now, let me tell you about my son, Ron. Ron wasn't the sit down here, raise your hand kind of student. No. He was the, what's that happening over there kind. He was the, why are you telling me what to do kind. He was creatively distracted. And so one day, during a family photo shoot, I gave up trying to make him sit still. He was everywhere at once until I make him hold his toy. And finally, we got a picture. Later, as we looked through the pictures, he pointed at one and said, "Emos." I blinked. What's Emos? I wondered if it was an acronym of our names. He said it again, proudly pointing at his toy, Emos. It was in that moment I realized that while I saw a perfect family picture, Ron saw a moment with his toy, his best friend, Emos. Because pictures without Emos, he was seen distracted. Where there is no play, there's no run, and there's no perfect picture. From that day, I learned a great lesson. I stopped treating play as a reward, but started honoring it as the language he spoke best. Play is the language every child speaks long before they say a word. Have you ever watched a baby laugh? Those deep, contagious giggles that light up a room? It doesn't matter if the baby is an African, American, or Indian. If you can make a silly face and bounce around the room, that baby will burst into laughter. And if you keep at it, you'll become their favorite person in the room. That's the power of play. That giggle, that joy, that connection, that's learning in motion. Through play, children learn who they are. They build trust, they express, they experiment, they rehearse those life skills needed in the world ahead. So as we leave here today, let's remember, play is not a reward. It's a right. It is not the opposite of learning. It's the beginning of it. And when we protect play, we prepare them not just for school, but for life. Let's prioritize unstructured time where doing nothing is actually doing everything. Let's create safe spaces where children can move, feel, imagine, and express themselves freely. Let's become advocates of play at home, in schools, and in policy rooms where they need us to speak on their behalf. Because if we protect play, we protect their future. Thank you.